I'll explain it I'll explain it when we get to it.
Still typing notes, so please don't make me go first.
Oh man, Nick, what kind of notes are you taking right now? It's early.
Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweedy, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon.
That being said, guys, type. Just kidding. Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering Phil. What really? Are you filling in for Matt today, Lynn? What's going on here?
Hell yeah!
What?
You mad?
Damn it, Lynn!
You mad?
No, not even a little. I'm gonna brush the.
I messed it up. Wait, are we recording?
There it is. There's the Matthew I was looking for. All right, I'll explain to our listeners shortly. Let's kick things off. Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials, covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joe Tweeden, and joining me today, crossing the multiverse in hosting duties tonight, guys, we have the Lynn Dungeon and the Nick Thomas.
Woohoo!
There they are, and here we are. Guys, this is part 2. This is a part 2, guys. Episode podcast number 52. It's fitting that it would be a part 2 now, isn't it? No?
No.
Yeah?
You lose. No.
Oh, we got 1 no, 1 yeah. Okay, well, anyway, I tried, guys. This is part 2 of our year in review 2018, guys. We had Matthew Johnson with us in the previous episode. So, guys, I kind of lost my spot there for a second. Oh, yeah, 2018 year in review. Guys, previous episode just came out last Friday. We covered movies and our television picks. So, if you guys want to hear, honestly, one of the most absurd episodes we've ever recorded, and yes, filled to the brim with hilarity, some might say drunkenness, and also an F-bomb counter. Now, I can't promise the same thing for this episode. I will guarantee insightful nerd knowledge mixed with a little bit of shenanigans. If we're honest, a good chunk of shenanigans. That being said, I do, however, have to pause this episode for just a moment, because although this is coming out, this will be Monday for all of you guys, the day before the new year, or, yeah.
Wait. Are you explaining to the viewers what's going on? I thought you paused it.
No, I'm telling the viewers we're going to pause for a minute here and focus on something. So I'm not telling you guys to pause. Us. I'm not telling us to pause. I'm telling our listeners to hold on for a second. Now, am I correct in thinking that this okay. Yes. This episode will be out New Year's Eve, the 31st. But we are actually recording this on the 29th. And I wanted to take a quick moment, a moment of silence and recognition. This moment of silence is for the great Stan Lee, as he has since passed 1 month ago. And it would be his 96th birthday today. So we offer up a few moments of silence right now.
Excelsior.
I might well, no, that would defeat the whole point of silence. I was gonna
Hey.
say I might insert some epic music here, but then I was like, wait, this is a moment of silence. We decided, in the spur of the moment, to jump into the comic book section of our top picks for 2018, as we felt it would be very fitting due to the 96th birthday of the comic legend himself, Stan Lee. And, yeah. Simple as that, guys. So we'll do comic books, and then we'll jump into video games. I'm going to have to come up with a completely new segment for comic books, because we've never really placed an entire focus on comic books. Everything we talk about kind of has comic books bleeding into it. So that's kind of why we've never really thought twice about it. But guys, if you're up for it, listeners, I think we could easily create a comic book segment, which I think we need to do soon. And who knows, my future editing self might create a comic book segment, I don't know,
Whoa.
right here.
Whoa.
Guys, welcome to our 2018 Hot Picks in Comics. I'm going to take a moment and ask Nick if he's ready.
For this topic,
Okay.
I am.
Okay. We've gotten plenty of time during the beginning of this episode for you to be ready. Nick Thomas, I'm going to throw it over to you, buddy, for your 2018 comic book picks.
Oh man, it's gonna get real.
There were a lot of doozies this year. It was a hard one to pick from. I actually read a crap ton of comics, so.
And we implore you, sir, thank you for your efforts. Keep going.
The first one on my list, not in that order, but the first one I can think of on my list would be. You've all heard the Incredible Hulk. This year they had one called the Immortal Hulk. This comic book series embraced the horror that is the Green Monster and made it almost like a horror comic book. They went more towards that, the psychological side of it, and just his more evil and grotesque tendencies. And it was beautiful the way they did it. Al Ewing and Joe Bennett headed that, and it was fan-frickin-tastic. The writing was spot on. The way they handled the relationship between Bruce and the Hulk was different, and it's not what I expected from before. But it was actually really good. The last one is actually, I can't pick one, but it's a series that happened this year. So I'm going to wait for that one.
Well, hold on. Wait. You had the Immortal Hulk as one pick. Now you're going to lump two into one?
I'm going to go to the next one, and the last one I'm going to do is a big one.
The next
one,
okay.
One of my favorite comic books ever. It's dark, it's twisted, it's funny, it's sweet, it's everything all in one. It just tackles everything. Because it's crazy. It's like a psychological thing. If anyone has ever read any of the Sandman series, they'll know what I'm talking about. Neil Gaiman is a freaking genius. This year they went into 4 spinoffs of the Sandman, and the one I'm talking about that really hit me in the tender spots, the nice and moist tender spots, is The Dreaming.
What's it called? Sorry.
The Dreaming.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on. I might actually have the book for that.
Yeah. This was the first.
Do you? Sorry, dude.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got excited.
No. Whoa. Slow your roll. That is Robin's favorite author.
I like my wife even more. Not only is she a
Neil-
hooligan, she likes some Neil Gaiman. She's good people.
We need to get Robin
That-
on this damn show, Lynn.
Him and Charles DeLint are her two favorite.
Yeah, you can keep her. I'll allow it. No, this is actually from DC Vertigo's line. All their Vertigo stuff, it gets a little twisted, but that's all right. That's what we come for. The Dreaming, yeah. Oh, dear God. It was beautiful. It was epic. It was awesome. I just like how they write that. Basically, in this, the Dream Lord himself is gone missing. You don't know if he quit. You don't know if he just said it, or if he got killed or died or just disappeared into nothingness. But he's created entities throughout his realm. And this one goes along and follows Dora, who is this entity that's got to figure out what to do now because her creator's gone. And it's,
all gone. She gone. She got to figure her shit out.
Exactly.
It's epic.
All right. This next one was a full series. I couldn't pick the one because, well, technically it is one because they released it as a series, but then they put it all in one book. So we're going to count that one. Dark Knight's Metal.
Whoa. Dark Knights as in like knight in shining armor?
Yeah. Dark Knight's Metal. Not K-N. Nights. All right. This.
Oh, no, knights as in like nighttime. Yeah, it's spelled that way. Yeah, okay.
This was.
Damn, this is some DC darkness.
Oh,
sorry, go on, dude.
Yeah,
sorry.
it was a cluster of glory, and I loved it. This basically, there are 7 evil iterations of Batman, coming from a dark shadow dimension to the main dimension to destroy Earth and take out the Justice League.
Damn.
Yeah. They're all led by the Bat God Barbatos. So I actually went through, and I told you I was taking notes. I have the breakdown of each of the Batmans for you, so you kind of have an idea of what you're getting into here. They take the Batman and mix them with other characters, and it's freaking phenomenal and sexy. So the first one we're going with is The Drowned. The Drowned alternate version is actually the only Batman among them that is a woman. She's a Batwoman. But basically take the Batman's way of doing things is creating, a whole bunch of... You're like, I'm going to read this. It's
I need to... Oh my god,
dude,
yes,
it's freaking
dude.
awesome.
Woo.
That is Batman mixed with Aquaman. The strength, the underwater, the telekinesis of sea life, all that. Yeah, just boom, all in one. These are all conglomerations, combinations of different people in the universe. The next one, the Devastator. Okay, so Batman's wit, his ability to think through things, slam that in with Doomsday. This is the Doomsday Bat. Yeah, the Devastator. Crazy, hellish combination of Batman and Doomsday. Yeah. You see why I like this comic book series?
Dude.
It was a nerdgasm. I'm not joking.
We need to talk more often about your comic book reading habits.
The next one is The Murder Machine. He was by far one of my favorites, actually. The Murder Machine is from an alternate reality. So after everything happens, Alfred Pennyworth ends up getting killed. So Batman goes to Cyborg and asks Cyborg to upload his consciousness into what he calls the Alfred Protocol. Pretty much makes a giant cyborg of Alfred. The first thing Alfred does is kills every single villain in the entire city of Gotham.
Well, that would destroy an entire comic book series, right?
Yeah, just completely destroys every villain in Gotham. And at the end of it says, "You're welcome, sir." The Batman. But then the Justice League says, wait, we can't have this. This isn't right. So the Justice League decides to try to stop him in that reality. He destroys the entire Justice League and then absorbs Batman into him.
Damn.
Say what?
Yeah. No, you'll have to read it. It's freaking insane.
This is an epic top pick list.
The next
sir.
one where you might
Sorry.
like is the Batman Who Laughs. Can you guess? This one is insane.
No. There's no.
right.
He's infected with the virus.
No, in this one, Batman is Joker. So the Batman Joker, blam, together.
Whoa, hybrid. I was like, there's the Joker?
Think the Joker's maniacalness with Batman's martial arts and his prowess on the field. He's got like razor sharp claws on his hands and just this gigantic bloody smile. And he's insane. And don't worry, all the Robins are there. Every iteration of Robin is with him, but they're all evil, sadistic, and cannibalistic.
Including Jason Todd?
All of them.
Wait. Hold
And
the
Dick
phone.
Grayson and Damian? Wait, how many are there? I listed 3.
4.
Hold.
Who's the 4th one?
So this comic book series is basically like the death and return of Superman.
What do you mean?
Like,
You're talking about? Oh, well, I don't.
you know how when
Oh.
Doomsday dies and he goes back and he runs into teenage Superman, Man of Steel. He runs into Cyborg.
Oh no! You're
Superman.
okay. You're talking about the period of time after Doomsday killed Superman.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where 4 different Supermen rose up to take on the new role as Superman. So you had Cyborg, Superman, Superboy.
The Super Nintendo game that I have, it's all of them. You go through each one of their universes, and they all end up meeting up, and that's how Superman is reincarnated.
I don't remember.
Sir, I gotta make one point. This is comic book hour, not video game hour.
It's a fucking crossover.
It's
for
a very
these-
odd point to make.
Lynn,
I'll have to look
whoa,
into that,
calm
Lynn.
down.
I'm
Calm
not going to
down.
belittle it. I have to look into it.
I can run and grab you the cartridge.
No.
Yeah,
Let's do our due diligence after the picks.
All I'm saying
I'm
is
not calling you
making
Ellen.
sim-
Sorry.
I'm making a similarity within the 2 characters within the same universe
Fair
because
enough.
they're both DC.
I appreciate
It's
it.
not like
All right.
I appreciate it.
it's not like I'm crossing the line and going somewhere in the Marvel land. Come
Whoa! I'm kidding. Calm
That
down.
would be blasphemy. Excelsior.
Yeah. Yeah, but that one was sadistic and crazy on that one with the Joker mix and the cannibalistic Robins. Yeah, they were probably my favorite part of that.
I can only assume how that Batman would be overtaken by the Joker by how it happened in Arkham Knight, the video game. Where, just the Joker's in his head the entire time, and then he just lets the Joker take over.
The Merciless. This one was probably one of the.
Hold on,
just
Nick,
yeah.
Do you throw these now into the honorable mentions, or are we making a 5 pick or a?
No, like I said, they released this as one big book. What do they call when they? I forget. I'm stupid. But
Hold on. No. I have
You're
one
not stupid.
within my list, and it's called a saga.
thank you. It's the Saga. They threw it together as one comic book, and that's actually how I read it. I didn't read them individually. I bought them all as one full book. So to me, it was one book. But I do know these came out as an individual comic book. But
Okay.
this story arc rests in my comic book top 3 review, and you can't really say one without the others.
I take that back.
Right.
I remember we got into this argument a while ago. It is called a trade, not a
Yep,
saga.
trade. Thank you.
Yes, we did. I was desperately fishing for what is a collection of issues published into
okay.
a single
Wait,
volume.
Wait. Okay, a trade is when it is an old comic republished as one big book that is a trade. A saga is when it's a new comic published as one big book.
Yes, and I think that might fall more under the manga side of things, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, the next one is Merciless, which is an iteration of Batman that is basically Batman mixed with Wonder Woman, but he more kind of takes on like what Ares was, the God of War. He just wants total destruction, war, everything. So he joins with the plan to destroy everything. The Red Death. Can you guess what this one is? Think Batman, but on his head he's got lightning bolts.
Something says that he moves really, really quickly.
Yeah. This is a mix between Batman and the Flash.
What?
In this reality, Bruce Wayne ran into something that he was not fast enough to handle. So he started messing around with the Speed Force to acquire the power. And him messing around with it drove him insane. Like he'll vibrate people's bodies and kill them, take their heart with him. He does some crazy shit. The next one, the last one, because probably my favorite DC character is this iteration. In this iteration, he's called the Dawnbreaker. In this reality, Aben Sur's ring doesn't find Hal Jordan. It finds young Bruce Wayne minutes after his parents are murdered.
Say what?
Yeah, the ring
Massive
finds
twist.
Bruce Wayne minutes after his parents are killed, and he takes the power of the ring and instantly incinerates Joe Chill.
Best gadget ever.
And from then on, he just knows he has his power, and no one will ever hurt the ones he loves. But he takes that power and it goes to his head. And then they all join forces to destroy our beloved Justice League.
Wow.
Why do at least two of these end with the destruction of the Justice League?
All of them are. They are looking to destroy the main canon universe's Justice League.
Fair enough.
Oh, by the way, our Batman's missing.
Our classic Batman is missing through all of these or one of these stories?
From the beginning of it.
Oh. Man, dude.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Race to find the Batman.
Now you have something to look forward to and read, because it was amazing.
And these are all 2018 series that came out?
They started last year, but I got the release whole thing this year. But it was the main bulk of it was this year, and it was freaking fantastic.
Dang. Guys, I told you DC is up to no good.
Well,
DC as far as dark shit's concerned,
dude, they've kind of once they went with the whole Blackest Night, them to go that route was just easy. They knew where to go with it, and right there, two of my favorite series, Blackest Night and Dark Knight's Metal.
Okay.
But I will pass the torch to the next person.
Nick, thank you for all that insightful information. I've got a handful of trades to go hunt down now and read through. Lynn, I'm going to throw it over to you next, sir. You said you have a handful, if you will.
Oh, yes.
Go for it.
Okay, so my honorable mention for the year will be the Batman Beyond trade. It is pretty much the show adapted into a comic, but being a comic, they were able to go very much darker and very much deeper into the Batman Beyond series. And I gotta say, I loved the show as a kid, and it coming back in 2018 was just fantastic. And there is a lot of blood and a lot of death.
Well, that show already went darker than the original 93 Batman series, even.
Right?
Right?
And what was it? The 28th, the fourth iteration of the trade came out for the Batman Beyond.
Nice. I didn't realize they were doing a Batman Beyond run. That's pretty awesome.
Dude, go check out the cover for the 28th release. It is him, and then the logo, the Batman symbol that's on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the ground, and then he's just surrounded by dead bodies.
Dang.
Okay, and then my next one is going to be the redo of X-Force with, Domino, Cannonball, Shattershot, Boom Boom, and Warpath. And
Nice.
in this iteration, Cable is dead, and they are tracking down a dead mentor who is in a younger version of himself that can time travel, and it brings up Deathlock.
Dang.
It's a pretty good one. It's definitely worth to check out. And then, what is it? My second one. So my honorable mention was the Batman Beyond. Then it's X-Force, and then my second will be my campy one, my super campy comic, and that is Mars Attacks. They took they made a Mars Attacks series, and
Interesting.
it is all that you would want from every B-rated movie comic adaptation that you could ever get. It is fantastic. And then my last one, my number one, while I was in Disney, I sent you guys a picture in Discord. I don't know if you saw it, but they have a Lando comic series.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. While we were in California Adventure and we were checking it out, and I got to go through 1 through 7 of the series that they had up on the shelf, and it is definitely worth the check out. It dives deep into young Lando, like Lando when he had the Millennium Falcon, and it just nothing but Lando. My favorite character from the Star Wars series.
Nice, dude. I like it.
But yeah, and I don't know, and the people who took it over definitely did a good job. The artwork in it is fantastic.
Nice, dude. I will have to try those out too.
I do have an honorable mention I forgot to mention.
Oh, go ahead, throw it out there, Nick.
As you guys know, and as Len knows, and he might be one with me, I'm a fan of League of Legends.
Yes.
And
Oh my god, I'm slightly surprised you haven't talked about it more at all. Like, I mean, just as a side note.
League of Legends, they always do a lot of lore and stuff within their game. They just partnered with Marvel. And I actually read their first comic book, Ash, the War Mother.
Oh.
Their first conglomeration between League of Legends and Marvel. And it was really well done. It goes in origins of all the characters, and it's I just can't wait to see the rest of them.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, dude.
sorry.
Man,
Go ahead.
no, you're fine, dude.
But
I'd
like to,
go ahead, Lynn.
you know how in the beginning of the episode we brought up that a lot of the comic books were doing the Stan Lee tribute, and throughout the month it's been more than just the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. There's been at least one comic book cover for almost all of the books in the series, and for each one of the comics releases, there's at least 4 different artists that did different covers for each one of the comics as they came out.
Nice. That's going to be a pretty cool collection when all is said and done.
I definitely say it would be something to get your hands on later on for, having in a sleeve for collectibles.
Definitely. Or add to Nick's background in his office.
Wait till I get the other wall done.
There you go. That's next, guys. Lynn, did you have any other mentions or picks? Or was that it for now?
I've thrown just a bunch of stuff in. I didn't go into too much depth because I don't want to spoil any of it, but...
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
You're fine, dude. That gave me enough... Your description gave me enough intrigue to go hunt the books down.
Yours was vague descriptions. Mine,
they weren't nothing...
If I were to go into detail about mine because of how localized they were, it would wreck them.
Spoilers where necessary. In this case. Well, guys, Nick and Lynn, if those are your picks for 2018, I did not read up as heavily as you guys did. I read a lot of things, but a lot of it was kind of catch-up stuff, nothing that came out this year. However, there's one series that is still being published this year that I've grabbed a hold of as being one of my biggest, most favorited series out of comic book distribution. Now, I love Superman. I love the X-Men. I have a wide variety of collections as far as those are concerned. But as far as like the one series that for me right now has kind of stood out as being captivatingly different than what a lot of people might consider being a comic book. And that's on the more of the graphic novel side of things. Now, the series I'm referring to, it comes out monthly in spurts. There's usually a 6 to 8 issue release that shortly after is procured into a trade paperback. And the way I've been digesting this series is through trade. So every few months I buy up the $12 or $15 collection of issues, and this is from the Brian K. Vaughan graphic novel series known as Saga. Now, guys, Saga is, man, it's really, it's inspired by some classic pop culture. One of the biggest inspirations being Star Wars, but it mixes in things you don't expect to see in Star Wars. On top of that, it throws in a very Deadpool quality hard R adult rating into this fantasy built world. Guys, I'll quickly read off just kind of like the synopsis for what this series entails, because right now it's an ongoing series. They've reached issue 50 this year, I think 50 something this year, and I just bought the last 2 trades, which collected issues like 30 through 40 something, and I think they're on 50 something right now. Basically, Saga is an epic space opera fantasy comic book. It's created by Brian K. Vaughan. He's the guy that writes the whole show, the comic book, and it's penned by one artist, Fiona Staples. Now, I'll put up a clip here or there as I'm talking about this to kind of show you guys on the YouTube channel what the artwork is like. It's not super stylized, but it's very simple. It's very, just kind of a lot of clean images, nothing super detailed, and nothing gritty like Todd McFarlane per se as far as detail goes, but it definitely has a unique look to it that's not carried over through a lot of series. And basically, the premise is it depicts two lovers from long-warring extraterrestrial races, Elena and Marco, fleeing authorities from both sides of a galactic war as they struggle to care for their newborn daughter, Hazel, who occasionally narrates the series. Now, the interesting thing about this is half the series is kind of narrated from two perspectives. Half of the series is told from the situations happening, the actual moment to moments, the two lovers, Marco and Elena, dealing with being together, getting separated. Both, they come from two separate alien races that hate each other. Their races are at war with each other. And then the other half of the series, and again, it's kind of like back and forth, but the other half of this comic book series is narrated from the grown-up version of the child that these two main characters have together. So they have a baby named Hazel, and the story is kind of told as kind of like a flashback from Hazel as an adult. Now, so far up to this point, we've never seen Hazel grown up, but we see the dialogue bubbles coming from her thoughts, which are kind of her adult version narrating the situations that she's experiencing. The one of the huge reasons Vaughn wanted to create this series is, one, he wanted to create a series he loves, kind of like J.R.R. Tolkien of Lord of the Rings. The whole reason he came up with that universe is he wanted to tell stories that he loved to read. So similarly, Vaughn came up with a Star Wars twisted adult fantasy universe that he wanted to tell. All the while, he wanted to create it in such a unique way that it would be hard to display in a live action movie. He wanted to create things that were so complicated and convoluted in visuals that it would be very hard, at least a few years ago when he came up with the idea, to put this into the silver screen, aka Hollywood. So he's been very stubborn in inking any deals with any production studios as far as a series or a movie is concerned. But I mean, this guy has procured images of very adult matter. But the thing about this is, it's not just adult as in like violence, sexuality, and language, but it's also really adult in the context of like the story it's telling, kind of like the personal emotions these characters are going through. Because Marco and Elena are constantly back and forth with being together and being separated by authorities that are hunting them down, you know, and at one point Elena is trying to find work just to support, you know, just to survive. And she gets in, these characters get in really adult situations that are not your day-to-day circumstances. And then mixed with that, guys, their main spaceship is a freaking tree. A wooden tree soaring through space, aka Guardians of the Galaxy's Groot. I mean, literally, it's a wooden spaceship flying through space. You've got gigantic cats, where the number one source for fuel for a certain thing happens to be their ejaculated sperm. I mean, if I'm going to deviate for half a second, there's some really crazy concepts in here on the level of like beyond what you might see in Doctor Who or Star Trek. I mean, there's some really crazy concepts, and this would be incredible, as most fans would express, to see as a live action movie. But like what they would do to pull this off, I don't know. I think the technology and the CG is close to making some of this really authentic, and I think it's just the stubbornness of Brian K. Vaughan not wanting to see it, monopolized by Hollywood. But at the same time, us hardcore fans have read his books want to see this fleshed out somehow someday. Anyway, guys, Saga is amazing on an emotional level. I'll conclude with just the fact that I've never read a comic book recently that's actually almost brought me to tears purely on a written character level, because I told you guys about the absurdity of this fantasy world, but Vaughn is such a good writer that he also knows how to convey a meaningful story between two people that are in love with each other, that are just trying to survive the hatred of their two races. And they're trying to raise a mixed child that they birthed whose races hate each other. It's very cultural as well. It's really a introspective look at mankind today mixed with high fantasy. I will end with this, guys. I highly recommend you check out Saga. Don't leave any of these comic books lying around for your kids to look at, because yes, there is absolutely alien nudity in it, on top of crazy, crazy levels of violence. This is definitely for mommy and daddy to read as far as comic books are concerned, but I highly recommend it. It's a thing of beauty. I've been wanting to talk about Saga on our podcast for a long time. There you go. I've laid out my guts about it. I'll keep you guys posted on future developments of the series, but that's currently my 2018, and honestly, if we're to retrospectively post, I would say that's also my pick for 2017. Just putting it out there, the quote-unquote Saga itself is incredible. That's it.
That's all you got? No
Yeah.
else?
I know. Well, this has brought in light to the fact that we should work in a more regular segment of said comic book chatter, to a point where it could even be the fourth episode of our 3-category show that's taken the main stage for so long.
Or we could even hit like tabletop and TCG and any of that other stuff.
Oh, I agree, Lynn. We just need people, we just need individuals that want to lead some of these things. Because while I can get passionate about comic books, I don't have as much knowledge or drive to necessarily lead a segment or show, for that matter. And I look forward to talking to Nick and other prospects that might want to do said thing, lead a deeper discussion. Because I'm fine with being there for the ride. I just can't necessarily back up the train as a lead for said topic. But I want to dive into more comic books as the years go by. You know what I'm saying?
I'm picking
Nick and
up
Lynn.
what you're throwing on.
Well, guys, the guys were left speechless with my with my Saga presentation. Not giving myself any props on that. It's just the story there is incredible. So I'll let those guys dwell upon the idea. Maybe they'll check out the first issue of Saga at some
sounds
point.
good.
It's worth trying.
Nope, I'm not gonna touch it.
All right, Lynn. You hold on to that. Guys,
Big argument.
I don't know what time frame we're working on, because I'll be cutting out
Hey,
a
time
rant
is
that
relevant.
some of us had earlier. You're right, when talking about things we love. That being said, guys, it's time to move into our final category, mistakenly thought to be the comic books, but not in this case. We are now cutting to our gaming picks for 2018. Guys, it's Gaming Bits. Guys, welcome to Gaming Bits, or should I say our gaming picks for 2018. Alright guys, I do have a couple out of the list, and to be honest guys, we are really out of maybe it's just me. I'll take credit for being out of the loop. I won't blame you guys. I am so out of the loop with how many hits came out this year. I forgot what came out this year, so I did a quick Google search and I was like, shit. I haven't touched even half of these. I was embarrassed. 2019 will be better, guys. I promise you. We will cover more current games. I touched a couple of these. I'm curious. Do you guys have a solid 3-pick on games for 2018?
I even have an honorable mention.
Oh, shit. What about Lynn? Yeah?
Multiple consoles 3.
Oh, geez. So I'm wondering, should I get my short list out of the way? Let me get my short list out of the way, and I'll let you guys indulge in your honorable picks. Does that sound all right? I'll get out my quick ones. There's only 2 games on here that I'm going to mention for my quick pick. So I'm going to cut to it right now, and then I'm going to throw it over to you guys. Okay, guys, for my quick pick, I don't have a lot of details on these. I played a lot of games this year, guys, but apparently, after researching it with a quick Google search, not all of it came out in 2018. So, for my 2018 picks, here it is. Guys, my quick pick for the year. I've played a lot of games, but I guess not as many as I had played came out in 2018. My bad. So, I'll be better on that in 2019, guys. For sure, we're going to cover more new games. But my first pick for the year, it's not first. In second place to my top 2. I only have 2 right now that I can think of, guys. Sorry. Far Cry 5 was fun. It was interesting. It was different. It was crazy hilarious. And I did a 5-part Let's Play series, which I never finished. Not because I didn't like the game, as Lynn freaks out in amazement that I didn't finish it. But it was a freaking fun game, honestly. My number 1 pick for 2018, and we won't go in super deep about it right now, but one of the greatest transformations to a game that was struggling. We've mentioned it before. We even have done some podcast episodes solely focused on it. Guys, Destiny 2 came out with a massive DLC expansion called Forsaken. And on the merits of this pick, being that we're talking about full game releases of 2018, Forsaken is not a full game release, but I still want to highlight it as one of my main picks for 2018 as being a game-changing situation that fixed a once beloved game back to where the original people that loved it could once again love it again. Sorry if that made no sense, but guys, Destiny 2 Forsaken is my number 1 pick for 2018, and I want to leave it at that. I don't want to diminish it at all by saying that my lack of playing other games is the only reason it got on the list. Not true. Not true, because I put over 200 hours into this damn expansion, so I think that credits me as saying this game or DLC was pick of 2018 as far as our lists go. Now, guys, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to throw it over to Lynn and Nick. Who wants to go first, guys? I'm gonna let you fight for
Well, I
it.
guess he's pointing at me.
He's pointing at you, Nick. So, Nick, go for it. 2018 Game of the Year.
I'm going to start off my list by disagreeing with you.
Uh,
I'm going to have...
I didn't think we were open for that, but okay, go ahead.
Destiny 2 Forsaken up there, because it was such an overhaul of the game. It was a different game to me. It was a completely different game. It was like comparing oranges to pineapples.
Apples. I'm sorry.
Whoa! It was the game we wanted, and they put storyline into it. Characters died. Your characters spoke. More stuff you could do. More villains.
Hashtag spoilers.
It was a completely different game to me, and it made the game enjoyable again. So that's actually one of the ones on my list. Next one on my list. Oh, well, first Destiny 2. There's a few things that made it point out. Bow and arrows. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to second that, Nick. Yeah.
Gambit play mode. It added a crazy new aspect to multiplayer competitive gameplay where you're not only playing against each other, you like trying to do objectives to get to that point.
Hold on. Nick, I want to hear a blank yeah from Lynn, just so I can get a third bleep. Come on, Lynn.
Yeah?
There it is. Okay, go on. Because we're all talking about Forsaken Destiny. We know.
Okay, if we're talking about one thing in Forsaken Destiny, I have to say, in agreement with Nick, Gambit. Hell yeah.
There it is.
That's the mode right there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous fun. It's exciting. It keeps you going. The way they set up the storyline and the side quests with the bounties, that you can keep doing them. It keeps you busy. They needed that. And I like the whole idea of the bounties. And it's kind of cool. You get different bounties each week, different rewards for it. A lot of cool things to do there. Now, my next game is a remake. This was released on PC from the classic 1993 Secret of Mana. It was Super Nintendo Classic.
Ooh.
Game.
They went through it. Some of the overhaul threw me for a loop. It took some getting used to get back into the game, but once I did, I still love the game. It made me realize why I loved the original. I still love the original better, but this was a great game. It was a great remake of it. A lot of people didn't like it because of what they did with it. There's a few things I'll point out that from the fans that originally played this game that they'll go, why the hell would you do that? The soundtrack. Did you play the original one, Len?
Yeah.
The soundtrack was amazing, right?
Exactly.
Now you got techno accordion music.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's what happens when they do remakes and they up the quality of the sound. They think they've got to change it to make it better.
So the music was a big downfall for me, but the game was great. I loved it still. There was some definite visual upgrades on it.
These were good. The visual upgrades were good.
Yeah, I liked it. And it kept to the story. Some of the mechanics were a little bit off because of the visual upgrades, but it was still playable, and I still loved it.
Hitboxes were off.
Yeah. Next one on my list, because of the genre, I can't get away from them. I love this genre in general. It's that top-down hack and slash action RPG. Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh.
Really? Divinity made your list.
Yeah. They released it on a whole bunch of the... If Diablo 3 was released later in the year, I still would have picked Divinity over it.
Fair. Well, yeah. Honest. If we're going Diablo 3 versus Diablo 2, it would be 2 over 3.
Hell yeah. No,
not 3, but
the original Sin. GameSpot even gave it a 10 out of 10, which was
Dang.
Pretty good. This is an action RPG hack and slash from the top, kind of like we were saying, Diablo, kind of reminiscent of Baldur's Gate. I'm a big D&D player, so this just hits me in the feels. It's
Hardcore.
that type
man,
of
hardcore.
type of game. So yeah, those are my 3. I do have an honorable mention. Another flashback from my nostalgia. They released Age of Empires Definitive Edition,
Ooh.
1997 RTS. They did a lot of things we wish they would have done in the original. They cleaned up the voiceovers. The sound effects are awesome. The visual upgrades on this were ridiculous. You actually see them like pouring the water over it and like kicking dirt up on fire, buildings caught on fire. It came with the Rise of Rome package. It was the AI still sucked monkey balls. I don't think they'll ever fix that for that game.
No, it won't.
But I still love the game. That was one of the first PC games I played, multiplayer wise. Because back in I played StarCraft 2, but this was before that.
No, I'm just saying StarCraft was my first.
Yeah, it was a great game. I back in the day we had internet service by Wizards of the Coast as an ISP, and whenever you got their service as an internet service, they gave you Age of Empires for free.
Oh, what?
There you go.
And I still have the disc from the original. So yeah. All right.
More gaming bits for you guys.
Yeah. I'll pass it off.
Passing it off to me.
All right, Lynn.
All right.
Finish us off with 2018 picks.
Okay,
let me start. I will start with Nintendo Switch. My top 3 for the Switch. I will say the first one is Smash Bros.
Nice.
I gotta say, the ultimate, where everyone is there. This game, definitely, the grind is real. Just to get all the characters unlocked, there's replay value up the butt. And then my number 2 for the Switch, my number 2 will be Mario Party. And the reason why it's only number 2 and not number 1 for me, I mean, if it was one of the older ones, is the fact that it's only 2-person per console.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
Say what?
Because there's only 2 Joy-Cons per Switch, so to play a full 4-player game, you got to have 2 Switches with the 4 Joy-Cons. That's the only downfall to it.
Well, that sounds like a downfall for Smash Brothers too.
Smash Bros is an online thing, so it doesn't. I mean, it's kind of in the same category, but I mean, fighting games are going more towards online nowadays.
What about like the 4-player tournament at home on the couch?
You mean the 4-player Rage Fest?
Hey, I only ever used my 64 controller to flail once.
Right? I've thrown a couple.
He used Meta Knight. He deserved it.
I've thrown a couple wave birds in my life, and I regretted it.
Ooh. Hashtag regrets.
But I will say that's why Mario Party is number 2. Now my number 1 is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Oh snap! Hold up the Pokeball, then.
For the Switch, my number 1 is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and
Nice.
I will say my opinion, as that being number 1, is as I was a kid, having that Pokemon Blue version was just Christmas Day miracle. Like unwrapping that and being able to play it and just something that the other kids at school didn't have. Yes. And then this is the badass 3D stadium redesign of it.
So it's a report of it?
It is a report of Red and Blue.
Oh, Nice. I heard some things on this, and is it true that your Pokemon Go?
Yes, Pokemon Go does link to it, but that is also the downfall to it.
Why so?
Because you know how in Red and Blue you could run through the tall grass and it was random encounters? It is no longer random encounters, and you cannot fight wild Pokemon. You can only catch wild Pokemon. That is one of the downfalls. So the only way to actually fight is against other trainers, gym leaders, the Elite Four, and other Pokemon trainers who own the game and a Switch.
That's unfortunate.
Huh.
That it is. But their goal was to cut out the ability to sit and grind for hours on just wild Pokemon.
Because we all know we did it.
Everybody did it. I mean,
Yeah.
whoever picked Charmander at the beginning of the game to pick hard mode for themselves, they always sat there for at least 20 hours just grinding off wild Pokemon to get the ability to beat Misty.
Yeah.
The second gym leader. But they're my top 3 for the Switch. Now I will move on to my PlayStation top 3.
If I had a
Holy
Switch, I would have joined you. All 3 of those games are actually harkening back to my Xbox. My 64 days, and my
Right?
it's all games we used to play on other systems. So they all sound freaking fantastic. Like I was going through my 64 stuff, and I found Pokemon Coliseum. I was like, yes, so playing that tomorrow.
Oh,
See,
God.
if they would have put out a Luigi's Mansion this year for the Switch, that would have been my number 1. I loved Luigi's Mansion so much.
Or if Breath of the Wild had actually released this year
And not last year.
and not last year.
March.
Or
Because
they released an updated version of Four Swords on the Switch because no one actually can find it for the Game Boy.
I could get you a copy of it from Reno.
I don't have a Game Boy anymore.
oh well, that hashtag first world problems here.
They sell a GameCube with the attachment for the advanced cartridge. And
Hey
that's
Lynn,
what I want to play it on.
Nice.
what's it play? What you said? He said Game Boy, but what kind of Game Boy does it work on?
It's a Game Boy Advance.
Ah, that's my problem. I have a 1985 classic original Game Boy.
Well, see, there you go. I mean, I have the black and white.
It's all good. Mine's the
That's how I played the gray one?
no, mine's the green gray scale, like the green screen, no backlight, original gray 1985 Game Boy.
Yeah, with the maroon buttons and the black analog or black D-pad. Where are you going? Yeah, I have that one as well.
Yeah, this one right here, for all you YouTubers watching. I'm holding an original Game Boy with the hotline number that you could originally dial in for service, and this one took
Yes.
4 double A's. It still works, by the way, guys. I've tested it. I never had a Game Boy Advance though, so shame on me, right?
I've still got all of them. Like
I've even got the Home Alone game, which, on a side note, adult Macaulay Culkin's been making a resurgence on YouTube. Am I right?
yeah.
Anyone notice that? Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, go on to your PlayStation,
So
dude.
Switch, now PlayStation. Okay, So, my number 3 for PlayStation for this year is 2064 read-only memory. Now, this game is a 8-bit version of what you would imagine 2077 Cyberpunk to be.
On what is it called?
So it touches on themes related to human and augment orientation, gene splicing with animals and insects, and androids, and just cybernetics within humanity. It plays like, what is that? Fallout 2.
What game?
Or Deus Ex Machina?
2064 read-only memory. And it came out a long time ago, but it just came free for PlayStation this year. Put it on my list. And I definitely wouldn't have checked it out if it weren't free. But I gotta say, if I would have known what it was previously, I would have put the money into the game. It is.
Nice.
It's definitely worth it. Okay, and then my second one is We Happy Few. The British humor in this game and just the sheer BioShock feel to it made me really get into this. I won't go too much into it. Now, my number 1 is kind of a troll because everybody hated this game upon release, but 2018 is what made the game good, and it is No Man's Sky.
Oh snap, dude! You know its best version has come to the Xbox.
What's that?
I said its best version has now made its way to Xbox, so it is a multi-platform game.
Right?
Now.
But
give us your spiel on its 2018 iteration, Lynn.
Okay, so they added the Minecraft aspect to it where you can build on your planets. You can, you used to be able to collect materials and stuff, but that was for basic survival. Now you can build bases, you can build ships, you can build rovers, you can build submarines now with the last expansion, which was the End of the Deep. And then they also put into the game hidden relics under the surface. So you had to make terraformer mods for your weapons to actually manipulate the planetary surface. And then they added in, so you know how they said enemies would be randomly generated and the aliens would be random and the monsters would be random? That's that's legitimately a thing now. And they also added in underwater aliens or creatures. And they're not just all Gentile, they are hostile now, which is very terrifying, some of the underwater ones. And they added in excavation sites, so you can actually, as opposed to there being a pedestal out in the middle of nowhere where you could go learn an alien phrase or alien history, you can excavate historical artifacts from those aliens now and procure different words or different lore from like the Gek or the other couple of alien races that there are. What was it? You can set up a home base on each planet and turn it into a trading post. So if other people, being now that there's multiplayer in the game, other people come to your planet, they can trade with you. It's just everything that they promised upon release is what it is now, and it's actually good.
That is probably one of the greatest turnaround stories we've heard in this generation.
Well, yeah, because its first release was abysmal.
Hey now.
That's an old Lynn. I know you're coming from. I know you're coming from the here and now, but to be fair, Nick's statement is heavily understated from the reality of said release.
Though, when it first came out, is what real life would have been. Because now they kind of hold your hand through the whole game, whereas when the first game came out, it was you were dumped on a planet and you had to figure out how to survive. And that I honestly liked that because it was what would really happen. And you could ask Robin, when that game first came out, I dumped so much freaking time into that game that it's just stupid.
I know. My only argument in this moment would be the reason for the apocalyptic reception was due to false advertisement on the developers' side of this game. That's all I would say. That's all I would say. I would say a misguided first perception to the game.
If we're gonna throw blame, no, it's not just the developer. It's the producers, the investors, and it's the whole big picture. There's not just one side to each story.
I know. All I'm saying is
there's multiple
whatever the
sides to every story, and everyone wrote a check that they couldn't cash, and people rode the hype train to something that wasn't there.
Agreed. And unfortunately, the marketing side of whatever involved heavily painted a certain image, and invested fans didn't receive said painted image. That's all this comes down to, unfortunately.
Yeah. But
it is safe to say they've made a lot of effort to course correct, obviously.
It's what they promised now, finally.
Right.
Finally. And now...
And I'm not hating them on it. I played, Lynn, your PlayStation prefix version, and because I didn't get into the hype of it, me personally, I had fun with the version that was there. So I can't speak on the hype train origin of this whole thing.
The hate of it.
I was one of the ones that got my money back.
There you go.
Nick planned way ahead of time on that one.
I played the long-term waiting game, and now I'm actually getting my money's worth.
There you go.
Well, there was a lot of things that were upsetting. In the original trailers, you remember, like, you see like this giant worm creature going through. You see these herds of alien monsters going through forests.
Yep.
You could talk with people in the games and stuff. You could quite literally be standing next to someone and not be able to communicate with them when the game first came out.
Mm-hmm.
You saw no creatures. There was no, like, that pod racing things you saw in the preview.
Yep.
Hey.
All those things that they said was going to be there wasn't there when it first came out, but I'm glad they fixed it, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
one of the things I do have to say is don't go around shooting eggs or pods that you find in the wild, because there's an enemy that they put into the game called an unexcruciable horror. And when you shoot one of these eggs, there are these underground creatures that will pop out at you. And it's like if you slashed a chicken in Legend of Zelda. And
I heard the grimace there.
these things, if you blink, you're dead. You don't even get like 2 seconds to respond. Like I went into an abandoned power plant, and I was trying to get some stuff, and to get down one of the hallways, you have to shoot these pods, and just even through steel, these creatures pop up.
I don't know at what point we got calm, so I'm pretty much hard cutting this episode because we have delivered our hottest picks 2019 for comic books and video games.
Wait, what were Matt's?
Oh, shit. There you go. Thank you. Well, Matthew, if you've listened to the whole episode all the way to the end, you'll realize that we did shout out your picks because Lynn assisted us in finding them in the notes. Guys, a quick shout out to Matthew Johnson's picks for 2018. He didn't give us any comics, so we're strictly talking video games. His top picks, in no particular order: Destiny 2 Forsaken. That was expected. Forza Horizon 4.
It was also expected.
Also expected. We love you, Matthew. And Sea of Thieves.
You didn't put Call of Duty?
I know, right? That's kind of a shocker. But I will promote his Sea of Thieves by saying yes. The company Rare, who is currently developing Sea of Thieves, has done an incredible job at updating this game with 2 different expansions up to this point. And it's one of those online, constantly progressing video games, much like Destiny 2 and Bungie releasing DLC content. Rare releasing Sea of Thieves content has actually been beneficial, has added a lot of great stuff. And guys, if you haven't jumped on Sea of Thieves yet, it's free with Game Pass. So if you're a Game Pass owner, download that shit now.
Yar har diddly dee, a pirate's life for me.
And that comes from Nick and Matthew and myself. We're saying, guys, give it a try. Matthew puts it up as his 3rd pick for 2018. And
what other game can you put yourself in a cannon and fire yourself out?
Exactly. I'll throw it up there as my honorable mention because it is fun. Nothing, Lynn. We're now cutting to the end of the episode.
What did Nick say?
You could put yourself in a cannon and fire yourself at sharks while playing a hurdy-gurdy.
You can also fire yourself over to another enemy ship if you're good at aim.
And it's kind of funny when you're trying to play the hurdy-gurdy and you're drunk. It sounds like you're drunk.
It does, and it does one of those Fable-style motion blur, you're stumbling all over the place drunks, too.
You throw up on people.
And you throw up on people, just like in Fable. It's a nice callback. Anyway, guys, I also enjoy Sea of Thieves. We're now going to cut to the end of the show. Where, guys, thank you for joining us. That was our 2018 picks for comic books and video games. This has been part 2 of our year in review, so go check out part 1 if you want to see TV and movies. Guys, links in the description, seriously. You can find all our shit at one awesome location, nerdentialsmedia.com.
Well, it's not really shit. That'd be unsanitary.
Thank you for the one.com guy. But seriously, guys, if you only do social media, Facebook and Twitter and maybe Instagram, Those are kind of the key ones.
My MySpace account is working right now.
And like last episode, Nick's MySpace account is working, so go look up his shit if you want to be fresh with the 90s. Secondly, you guys can also catch us on YouTube. youtube.com/C/Nerdentials. Or just Google search Nerdentials. I promise you'll find us.
And you can't tweet us like Trump.
If you're feeling super, super political.
No, I was just meaning tweets on Twitter.
I know what you meant. Anyway. That was my failed attempt at summarizing everything being said. Guys, we love you. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully this has been your Nerdy Essentials for 2018. I pray that it has been. For me, myself, Nick, and Lynn, this has been, and Matt, rest in peace. This has been your Nerdy Essentials. As always, nerds, we'll see you on the other side. Boom! Wow. Who would have thought that minus one guy we would talk longer than four of us all sloshed?